So you mentioned that one of the investors said you're not ready for it. He said he liked the product is good, but you're not ready. Did he specifically give you feedback or tell you what it is that he thinks you can do to be ready?
She said, you gave the product for free. She said, that's a whole bottle. And she said, why don't you
Yes.
do little examples?
Here, she's a mom who is very passionate about cooking and about making her hot sauces. So she's going to be telling us a little bit about that today. And hopefully she can get to tell us how she started her hot sauce business and how you too could probably start one if cooking is one of your passions. So what is it that got you interested in doing a hot sauce business, and what is it that you can tell anybody who's looking to start something like you?
Okay. Well, first it started by me like wanting to it started cooking, which I always love cooking, but then I love hot sauce. So I wanted it to try out to start making it, to I love trying different people's, and then I did it my own. And then I was like, I made my own, chopped the stuff, the ingredients, some tomatoes, some onions, some, all the ingredients that I can't give up
Mm-hmm.
now. But I chopped all the ingredients out with the hot peppers and stuff. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, this is very good. So then when I was like, you know what? I then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own hot sauce, and that's how it started. So basically, it was out of just like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be like number one hot sauce because it's delicious. And then I started, and I kept going to people, and I'm like, hey, I make some hot sauce, and I kept asking and asking whoever liked the hot sauce, and they were like, oh my god, that's really good. So basically, I just continue asking people and continue cooking, and then eventually one day I took some classes for business, to start a business, in Westcon, a college, like a 10 step to start a business. So when I took the class, it was talking about business, on which I wanted it to do, to own a food truck. But
Okay.
I was like, okay, with a food truck, you have to make sure you have the consistency. You have to make sure, if the food truck breaks down, and all that it comes with the business. So I was like, you know what, that's maybe a little bit too much. So when I was talking to some of the mentors from there, this was actually before COVID. So I basically finished the class. I was almost in the movement of having a mentor and also investor, but unfortunately COVID hit, and there were, so that's the business kind of like went down. I specifically took the class. I do suggest to have a little bit of education on it, because some of the classes that they take is like, budgeting, on marketing, on how to attract. My daughter's making fun of me. My older one, she's saying um I'm sorry. Yeah, so all the steps to so I did that. I took some classes. I did that in Spanish, and I also did that in English. And also I associated myself at the time, unfortunately, if you do not believe on yourself, you kind of stop and go, and then you kind of also like, should I do the hazards or should I do different business? So I kind of like, me personally, because I feel like my whole life I been to jobs, I done job for people, but somehow like, it don't work out. You know what I mean? It's either the babysitter or the or COVID, it hit, and then fortunately the school's closed and opening, so you kind of have to develop some type of consistent, on where you can try to bring some type of income. I can tell you that after I was able to that came to mind. So how can I do something that's a little bit easier, on where I can use like the community kind of,
Yes.
and I was saying to before that, it's basically like believing in yourself. And unfortunately, we have our memory that constantly plays a replay of you can't do it, you stupid for doing that. It just keeps on constantly moving, on which you just every day is a struggle of like you have to do it. So every day I try to do at least one or two things towards what I'm doing. I try to do like the posting of the cooking, or like I did started to do to go to a supermarket on which the bodega we say, on which I went, and I asked, I'm like, here I brought them as a sample, and I was like, um see if you like the hasas. Hey, I make hasas. How are you? My name is, and I make hasas. I was wondering, it was really good, and everybody kind of does enjoy it. So I was wondering, maybe, if you mind maybe trying it, if you like it, and if you like to have it for your menu or for your meals, please let me know. So like, you have to be consistent. You can't go only there once, so I kind of like went 1, 3, 4, 5, like on and off, but food. And eventually, what, like me, and her name is Crystal, so the she kind of like, she said like, hey, what, it's very good. Then she sat me down and she said that this is this, how much will you charge for the bottle? So like, like I do like a bucket on which, they put it in the little things that goes in there. And then I do the bottles on which, it has to be shared. So basically, if the bottle is selling for $4, she said like, what, because you just started, she said, I'll sell them for 4, and then I'll give you the 3, and I'll keep the 1. So, I was like, thank you. It's something, and just the fact that she was able to allow me to do that, that kind of gave me the courage to be like, okay, what, I'm gonna do it. So I ordered the bottles. I was trying to see like ways and where I can order those bottles where it can be a little bit cheaper, but
Mm-hmm.
Alibaba, I guess it charges $100 to ship 40 bottles. So I was like, wait a minute. I'll stick with eBay. I can tell you, like, I have not made profit where I can be like, wow, I'm making profit, because I personally think at the beginning sometimes, you are gonna be losing. Like yesterday, with Edge, we talked about consistency, and he was explaining to me like, you gotta be consistent on what you're trying to promote. And so, what, he kind of like gave me, what, you're right, I have to refocus on what I'm trying to do. And what, I have a goal, and there is the consistency of putting every day. So I did brought the bottles there, and then one of the guys said, "Ooh, I like, he saw the bottle, he's like, oh, what is that?" And I'm like, oh, it's nice. I'm like, hot sauce. And then I'm like, he's like, oh, can I have it? And I was like, I wanted to be like $3, but I was like, you know what? I was like, you know what? Go ahead. So sometimes you gotta like, lose until you actually gain. So I was like, here, you know what? Tell your friends, and it's gonna be here. So it'd be like, hey, he's, and then I know it's good. So I'm like, whatever. I'll do it again. So
So, do you remember who your first client was?
yes, my first client actually was his name is Percy. And was actually, yes, he was the first person because he like Hassas. And at the time, my friend, her name was Lisa. I haven't talked to her, but maybe after this we probably will. But anyways, so anyway, she one day I was like, listen, I got this Hassas, right? And I was like, who likes Hassas? And he was like, he's like, oh, he loves Hassas. And I was like, great. I was like, awesome. So I went there, I made a soup, actually, where he tried it, my soup. I think I went to her house. I think I either brought the soup or I brought the Hassas, but either or. But the soup, he was drinking it. He was making fun of me. This is how the name came up too. So he was drinking the Hassas, and I was like, make sure. The name of my Hassas is called Just a Little Bit. So he's like, I was like, listen, I was like, well, I kept saying, listen, just put it just a little bit, okay? Don't put too much. I don't want no problem. Just a little bit. So then he started. He was eating the soup. He put the hot sauce just a little bit. He was like this. Okay. Okay. Oh, you got jokes. Okay. And then he put it. He grabs the soup and he starts like, mm. And I was like, how you like it? He's like, I like it just a little bit. I was, I was taste just a little bit. I'm like, is it this delicious? He's like, just a little bit. And he was like, so I was like, you know what? That's the name, just a little bit. So I took that name. So and then that's how the name came out. The name was say as the brand that I call it just a little bit because you try it, but you think it won't do nothing, but a little bit is like wow, and it's very good actually. I'm very proud of myself. I can say, yeah.
That's amazing, and that's a very good story for the name. Because a lot of times people don't have a reason for giving some kind of name, but the name with the story to it, I
Yeah.
think it's really good.
And it's cute though. I was like, you know what, just a little bit. And I haven't heard of it, of just a little bit yet. So I'm trying to get the other process on which I do want to go and I want to like start doing. I want to go and I want to do the patent, that for the name and everything. I want to situate that situation. I personally think that I haven't pursued as much as maybe I wanted it to pursue. At one point, like I said, like Kobe Hay, and then I also had another one that it was an investor and stuff like that, and he told me, he said like, you know what, he said the product is good, but you're not ready for it. That's what he told me. I was like, okay, all right. Sometimes you have to be able to take the good and the bad criticism that comes with it, and then just figure it out, which one is better. So I took the courage to actually go and talk to the person, and I wanted it to, and I asked him because he obviously has other places and restaurants and stuff like that, and he was explaining me to me on where do I want to go, and how is the brand, like how much is the pricing, what is the financial part behind it. So everything that I had to have basically a what he told me, that I have to know how much it costs, how much is the, because basically the product has to be able to sell, but also the consumer, the person that is selling it, they have to be able to make a profit off of it
Yes.
too. So, and also like I'm trying to see if it is okay. It is a homemade hot sauce, and but I never thought like it would have been that expensive, but it is expensive to make the hot sauce. Because the products themselves is not cheap, but I mean like the consume that it can be made, you know, but when he was explaining to me, I have to growth, and also he told me like, why don't you try to go to different places? So that's basically is my next step. I just wanted it to be comfortable enough in one spot where I don't get enough. So I let that be like a good 2 months, with the product, because I want to make sure nobody complain, oh, it's not good enough salt, or whatever the consistent of it is. But the product, if it's consistency, like I wanted it to make sure nobody it was complaining on it, like also be open for any type of criticism. If they say maybe it's too watery or it's too salty, or so I personally did that. I gave that allow. I did out of all the stuff that I kind of like made, I kind of gave away anyways, because honestly with you, I know what I want to do, but and then it's gonna come. I just want to make sure the steps and the consistency and the product is good before it can get promoted out there. And then I went and I stopped the, and you always on and off check wherever you put your product, check it to see what they said. And then I spoke to her and I explained that to her, make sure you have some type of relationship on which, I explained to her, listen, right now I apologize, I was going through this, I was going through that, but you know what, I'm back again. Can I bring my product again? And she's like, you know what, you better do it because they love it. Right here, they
Oh,
call it the
good.
homemade. That's the house. Now they call it their house home hot sauce. So
Okay.
so that's done. I have another one on which they is gonna help me with some of the like the bottling and all the stuff. So I'm gonna like resources. I think the best thing that you can do out of the resources is actually asking for somebody that is in the field that is trying to do the cooking. I also did like delivering, and I did do DoorDash, and I did Uber Eats. Um, and so I was kind of like seeing how the clients itself, like they like their food, or how how you have to be in certain certain ways. That kind of taught me about customer service. That me personally, the customer is always right. So personally, the presence of the bottles, the bottles right now, it has my name, it has all this stuff. So it's very important, the presence of the bottle, and you can read it really well. I do want to switch on my on the logo. I want to maybe make it less script, because I know Evan was saying that no script, it should be like regular letters in which you can read the products. So I listen, and then I might not act right away, but I usually sometimes take in all the information that I need. And then I'm like, okay, so this is going here and this is going there. But I should be more like, on the moment I feel, that's where I think I need to be on the consistent, where in the moment you feel it, like, oh my God, I gotta do this. It's like, it's almost like another extra step. Like yesterday I was with a baby, like trying to make sure she was sick. So, and I'm like, at 1 o'clock, I was like, I told him I was gonna do this sauce, So, and it's like, trying to like maybe schedule the timing, and I honestly with you feel like this past week I definitely like think I was consistent. I did a lot of lives, and because I knew that I was falling off, so I was like, you know what, let me just, that's why I reach out to you. Thank you for that. And being consistent on your product, and always practice, 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 like, to see the product can improve. Like sometimes I look at it, okay, maybe it needs more salt, or okay, maybe the bottling should be better. Oh, right now I'm thinking like maybe I might do like a different type of bottle. Like my daughter was talking to me today about the fact that I gave out the bottle for free. She told me, she's like, I was like, yeah, honey, I gotta bring another bottle because it needs to be there. She said, you gave the product for free. She said, that's a whole bottle. And she said, why don't you
Yes.
do little examples? So that right there, like I take any type of positive feedback, and I was like, you know what, she is right. So maybe I'm gonna do the little examples that goes on the bottles, and then maybe like when they say like, oh la la, like, I can be like, here.
Yes. So it's not
And
a
instead
full-size
of being the
product you're
whole
giving
thing.
away.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. Instead of giving away full-size products, you give out sample
yeah,
sizes and then you sell the products.
yeah,
So I have two questions, follow up to what you've been saying.
sure.
So you're a single mom?
Yeah, yes,
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of, yeah, balancing things. Okay, so you mentioned that one of the investors said you're not ready for it. He said he liked the product is good, but you're not ready. Did he specifically give you feedback or tell you what it is that he thinks you can do to be ready?
yes. So basically, like when I was speaking to him, first what I did, um I legit went in YouTube, and you Google, the steps of the business, because I did do the courses, so I just tried to like refresh it. So I Google those steps, and then I also like notated a lot of paper on what I'm gonna be doing and how I am gonna be doing the distributors. I did like the editing, I did all the stuff, the steps, but because he is a businessman, he said, you know what? He said, you have all those papers you have papers, you have notes, you have everything, but he it was not understandable of what, like a easy, okay, this is apple, apples and bananas,
You
bananas
haven't done it. You need to do it.
equals to,
Yeah.
so he said, he said, like, yes, it's great that you have that going up here at the grocery store, but you want to have at least 10 stores. So that's what he told me. So he said, it's awesome you have that going on for, like, that is great. But, you gotta like have 10 different stores. So then it can start a momentum, because, the store is great that's doing there. And he also told me, like, whenever you go somewhere, just mark your territory. So basically, I already have that there, and I put my logo right next to it. So that kind of like that not only shows that my product is there, but also the name, my name is there, and they can contact me if they need to, or that. But also what he was telling me was honestly with you, after that, like, I was so excited, maybe I was thinking I was gonna get a deal, but sorry, but yes, I was. So but then he told me, that I look presentable and everything is great, but then he said that, just to let you know, that sex sale. So I was like, huh?
What's that?
Yes, yeah, the sex sale. And he repeated that like at least 4 times. So I was like, I'm ready then. So I guess I am not. I guess I ain't buying nothing.
Wait, is he? Did you just say
Yeah,
what
so
I
that's
think you
why
said?
I got discouraged too, and I stopped doing the business and stuff. So,
Oh
yeah,
my
because
goodness.
I had it. I googled everything out. I mapped it out for him. I did, the add-in. I said how the bottles was gonna work. I said, okay, see if the cases of 24, and I sell them by each one for $4, and in the profit you'll get. Stop, no more. She's getting my makeup all messed up. If you sell, like, I try to like do as much as I can in the budgeting, but honestly with you, I just think that was going a little bit like the other way, to the point where I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna pursue nothing else. So I took the advice that he gave me. I did apologize to him for wasting his time, and I thanked him. And I said, yeah, I'll talk to you soon. But honestly, with you, I don't need his money. I'll be broke right now, so it is whatever. So yeah. So that
Yeah,
was my first investor that
yeah.
I said no to.
Well,
Yeah, or
so
whatever. Well,
here's the thing that and I'm sure you've probably already heard this, but the thing I'm trying to do right now in my life, and I'm hoping a lot of people can do that, is just to be able to look back at those negatives or those things that seem like they were negatives at the time, but just pick out the positive lesson that you have in there, because there
mhm,
are lessons in each of those experiences that you have had. You pick out whatever it is that he was trying to teach you.
mhm,
Forget about the rest. Just pick out the positive from each of them and then apply them. But the thing is, you need to keep the momentum. You need to keep it going. Yes, it might seem like there's so much to do, but so long as the focus is there's one focus. You want to get your hot sauce in
yeah,
this particular place by this particular time. If you have that at the back of your mind, and then all of your efforts, because yes, you're a single mom and you got kids, and so there's that priority that also has to happen while you're growing your business. So
mhm,
I think it's just about not letting yourself be pulled in so many directions, but knowing exactly, okay, this is what the focus is going to be. And then you're working towards that one particular thing. So if it's, say, for example, in 1 year, you want to have your hot sauce in this number of stores, it starts with one. So you just, what's the next step I need to do?
yeah,
Maybe it's not, I don't know, figuring out the whole distribution line or everything, but maybe it's just figuring out, how do I fulfill distribution for this one place,
yeah,
type thing. And then if that, you can focus and narrow that
mhm,
down on that, you will be able to get the full picture of what has to happen for the business as a whole, but working with one place, and then you can spread it out.
yeah,
Just because the resources are limited right now. And so maybe if you're trying to put it in 5 different places versus putting it in one place,
mhm,
putting in 5 places, yes, it's going to happen, but it's probably going to demand more resources than you have right now. But the
of
goal
course,
is to get it in the places at least. So if you can probably focus and get it into one, and make sure everybody knows that, hey, where you want to get just a little bit, it's at this particular place. You can always get it there, period. So people know they can always get it at that place, and then
Yeah.
you're spreading out from there. I just think that might be something that could
Yeah, that's
work.
what she was telling me about. I was like, listen, if she said she told me, like, she said, listen, you out of here. She said you are, she does actually, I went to her like when I was on my lowest, because honestly with you, like, there was the point when when COVID hit, I think I lost my job and stuff like that. So I kind of needed like a gateway. And I was like, you know what? I have like that so much potential in, and I'm like, every time I tried to do that Uber, which I was telling you, and then I got in a car crash because
Mm.
of my, and stuff was going on. I don't want to like keep repeating, stuff was going on, and but there was a lot of stuff that was going on. But all I know is like I got up and I was like, you know what? I was like, I have to make a way for myself, because unfortunately, I lost my job. You gotta wait for an unemployment another 12 years to get that. You start a job, then your children is calling you for to come to pick him up. You get the babysitter, they got COVID. It was just like a nightmare. So I was like, you know what, I have to find an outlet to be out. And this dream has been, and it's been a goal for me for like a long time. That's not the only product that I can make. I make a lot of stuff. I do a lot of baths, which is like cleansings and stuff. Back in my country, my family, my grandmother used to be a healer, and all my family in my country, they do selling at the
Healing.
market and stuff, and they sell the vegetables, they grow it. So that's an art, like, kind of. And you know why? And I found this so easy. When you are in the kitchen, it's almost like a therapy. And making people happy is kind of, I like that. So seeing them enjoying something that I produce and knowing that I did it, and then that kind of like also opens up. Oh yes, yes. They mowing the lawn. Oh, I pray for that today. Yes. I'm sorry. I love it when it goes that right way. You know what I mean? But and also like so it's just the fact to know that I did it. It was a struggle for me to like even like walk up there and be like, I gotta do something. I gotta find a way. I gotta find a way to be able to make a way. So, and then at the time, I didn't even had I didn't have food stamps. I didn't have nothing. And when we broke up with the epidemic, and I went to her store and I took my hasas and I was like, listen, I'm like, this is my hasas. I'm like, can you please, sell them? She said, like, you know what? So what we did, I used to do the hasas battles and the hot sauces, and then she used to give me the food. So we used to exchange. I used to take the Dominican food, which I still do. So basically, almost all my profit goes for me, munching on food or my products for now. But
So
that's
I
what
guess
I
so long as you
basically
stay
do.
yeah, I guess so long as you stay consistent with what you're doing and you keep that desire burning, then you're gonna
Yeah,
figure out a way to make it happen.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, so that's basically it. And I did cook today, Ida. Look, this is some of my food. Look, a little bit of thing in there, some
Oh,
arroz,
nice.
and I make some beans. You know, so it's like, yeah, cooking is a little thing that it does run in the family, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the very best with the hot
No
sauce business.
problem.
So for those who are listening, I don't know if you have like a website right now or a place where if somebody wanted to reach out to you to get some of your hot sauce, what's the best place to reach out to you for that?
Well, to be honest, right now I'm still in the process of it. But if they definitely want to reach out to me, we can figure something out on which I can maybe like ship it or do whatever I need to do. Just please send me message. You can send me a message through my Instagram for now. You can catch me on Facebook. The same thing, TikTok, any of the Instagrams. But Instagram is the best thing to do. It will be on Mariela Lunetta. And actually, I did created another page, which is gonna be yesterday. I was creating it for just the business. But for now, to if they want that, I can definitely do that, and I will figure out how to ship it to them, and then we'll figure
Okay.
something out. Yes.
All right. Awesome. So if you're gonna be watching this in replay on Instagram, the Instagram handle will be down at the description. But if you're gonna be watching this on YouTube, it's gonna be on the show notes as well.
Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Ida. I appreciate your time, and thank you so much. I'll see you
You're welcome,
Thursday.
Mariela. You're welcome. Thank
Bye.
you and have an amazing day. Bye now.
You too. Bye bye.